So.
Sorry for making you miss happy hour right now. Well, you don't have to actually go to happy hour. You can actually just be drinking right now.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm happy all the time. All right. Well, today we are joined by the ultra talented, very accomplished writer, Miss Amy Ratcliffe. Welcome, Amy. Thank you for being on our podcast. Well, of course. And so I just wanted to rattle off a couple of small, just very minor things that you've done in your career. So you're a writer for Star Wars blog, the Star Wars Insider, which I think for many years I was even
I subscribe to that too.
Yeah. The Nerdist, which we love the Nerdist. Collider, I think even LA Times. Also, I believe you wrote for the Imagine Games Network, or IGN as we know it. And you have a very successful blog called Geeks with Curves, which I have read a few times. It's very, very good. And the list just goes on and on and on. So as I'm reading all these accomplishments, I'm actually sitting here going like, why did you agree to do our podcast? I'm just like, but you also have a pretty successful podcast called Lattes with Leia, which actually I have listened to. It's a sister podcast for Coffees with Kenobi, which again, a great podcast. You have another one too. Was it Full of Sith? Is that correct? Oh, yeah, that's a really good show. So congrats to you on a 1 year of Lattes with Leia. I know that happened earlier this year. And we, our podcast as well, we just had our 1 year anniversary probably around the same time you did. Yay! A podcast anniversary. Can we trademark that? We can coin that, right? It's yours. Darn it.
You are the writer. You are the writer. Nobody would believe us that we came up with it.
Right. They just like bleep that out. Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
That sounds like some other people that are in front of the camera that just make up a lot of words now.
Exactly.
Unfortunately.
Talk about our politicians.
I'm not talking politics on this show now, but use your imagination. So as you know, this is part of a special podcast we're trying to do. It's about celebrating women in media, and it'll be called "Chew on This Embraces Our Feminine Side." So we're so happy to have you. I just want to get into your background a little bit for everybody who didn't Facebook or LinkedIn or blog or website stalk you like we did to prep for this interview. Just give us a little bit of background, mostly about how you got started in the industry, and if you had any early obstacles that you might have faced. That's okay.
It's distracting. It's cute.
Oh, nice name. There you go.
Oh, she's got nerd cred, dude.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Mm. Mm. Yes. That's awesome. Hmm.
Hmm.
Hmm. I think that's very important, especially to our listeners or anybody out there that wants to get in actually in any kind of uh, career, is that do the very best work, like focus on the work. And not to toot our own horn or anything, but Vic and I, we have pretty lofty goals, but we said, you know what, let's just put out the best product that we can and worry about that other stuff later. Like really just put really good quality product there that people would enjoy and that will, that we're proud of and all that stuff. And then everything else will fall into place later. And that's kind of like what's been happening little by little. And so it sounds like for you, kind of the same thing. You just kind of put your head down, did the work, and then produce. I mean, I looked at your website. I was like, this looks really well done. It doesn't look like a website, like a normal blog. It looks really professional.
It doesn't look like the Space Jam website.
Yeah, totally, totally. Mm. Right. That's unfortunate, right?
That's a good. It's a good problem to have.
Yeah, it's
We want that problem. When you started getting recognized for your blog, is that how that came about? Getting hired to do bits, articles here and there, and then it just kind of blossomed.
Mm.
Oh,
Mm. Oh
okay.
wow. Okay, it's not too. That's not that. That's like when I think the last Harry Potter movie came out. Was that your? Yeah. That's incredible though, to actually do what you really love to do and it's paying the bills and you're enjoying yourself. You went on a freaking Disney cruise. I'm still very jealous about that. Uh, Super cool.
have you any obstacles that you've faced being a female in the geek nerd culture has that, and that's kind of what we're trying to. I don't know if you've listened to any of our episodes or anything, but there's a few episodes and we actually have like diversity ratings and things like that. We try to we actually try to talk about inclusion. We try to talk about representation and all that stuff. So, I feel like in the last, maybe 5 years, we've started to get a lot of, recognition out there about, this is important. You need to include, you need to represent, have being maybe before that that took place. Did you find any like obstacles or any time where you're just sitting there like, I can't believe that this is actually happening, where we both love nerd and geek stuff and I'm sitting here having to deal with this crap?
Hmm. Wow.
Right.
Right. No, they're basically sexualizing you, which is not. That's not. I mean, so I remember when her universe came out, and I was so happy because I was like, oh, cool, I finally get to buy my girlfriend or my wife something cool that I like, but they can wear it, and because they didn't have any like female type clothing in nerd and geek culture, at least not very much. And so when her universe came out, that was fantastic. Being able to just like you would go into Victoria's Secret, you could actually go into like, Hot Topic and buy, your girlfriend an R2D2, dress or something,
Or they could buy it themselves.
or they could buy them themselves. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Right.
Yeah, exactly. I thought you had. Yeah, I mean, you in the beginning you used to have to wear a lot of eye black to get in there.
And like spikes on the collar. But
Yeah.
see, Vic has two little girls, and I think for him it's nice he can purchase things for his girls that he was never able to find before.
Yeah, I was a little annoyed when I have two girls, and I was annoyed when I would go into a store and try to find something. I think my first daughter's first nerd shirt was a boy's shirt. Was a boy's Marvel character or probably Star Wars or something like that, and it was kind of ridiculous. I went on a Twitter rant about it that I couldn't find anything for my little girl.
They listened to you.
Yeah.
Mm. Mm-hmm. Uh, it's been a while. Mm-hmm. I. Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah. Mm. That's a very
Toys
good point.
too. I think toys are a major thing for me because I have two little girls. DC has done a really great job with their DC superhero girls, I think it's called. Um, I have yep, I have a few of those. For I actually just bought her. Well, our audience knows we record ahead of time, but I just bought her. I just bought her some like DC superhero girl stuff for Batgirl because we went to go see Lego Batman last night. So proudly, she was the only one dressed in somewhat cosplay. In that, nobody else was. No boys was dressed in Batman stuff. She was the only one that went in the. She had gauntlets on, and she had the Batgirl mask on.
Yeah, it's so cool. Oh, brother. Absolutely.
So most of your obstacles are outside of the workplace, you would say. Mostly at conventions or in person. Never like really inside inside the
The
work area.
workplace.
Yeah,
Oh, awesome. Oh, wow.
right. That's
Oh,
good.
right on.
What about major influences? You're into basically everything that uh, we love, especially Star Wars. So, any major influences with your writing or somebody that you read one time and said, "Oh crap, that's what I want to do."
Yeah, right. Yes.
Yeah, he's basically the Star Wars encyclopedia.
Yeah, like totally a human encyclopedia, big time. Oh, that's really interesting. Oh, right on. Oh, right on. Um, so, advice for someone that is wanting to break into your industry. What kind of advice would you give someone? Mhm. Oh, yeah, right. Exactly. You have to you have to, well, especially in that line of work, I suppose you need to be writing all the time. I mean, just keep it up. Hmm. Yeah. No one's gonna pat you on the back. No one's gonna be like, "Good job." Mm, I saw that. Mhm. Right. Yeah, it is. And it's like everything else. I mean, the more you practice, the better you're going to get at it. I mean, no matter what you do in life. But it's just, you just got to keep it up. And then eventually you'll get to a place where it's just second hat, and you get really good at it. Um, so, okay. We're going to go into some other type of different questions. Um, so again, this is about, we want to keep this back coming back to this is about females in media and whatnot. And um, recently, I think is what, last year there was the Ghostbusters controversy with the all women cast and all that. And I'm just wondering, like, from your perspective, like, why do you think men sometimes are like, they're okay with a woman being awesome in movies, but only as long as they don't ruin something that men once ruled, like, like Ghostbusters or even Star Wars. Ah, Hmm.
We actually have a great story about Ghostbusters. We gave away a pair of tickets to the opening night for Ghostbusters in IMAX, and a mother won the tickets, but gave it to her daughter and the husband to go see the movie. And she, maybe she was like 10 or 11, something
Hmm.
like that.
Hmm.
She loved the movie. And the first thing she says when she gets out of the movie is she turns to her dad and says, "I want to watch the original one." So, I mean, the original like you just grew your audience even more to the original version of it, because before that movie, she would have never turned to her father or turned to anybody and said, "I want to watch the first Ghostbusters." And now, because she watched this, exactly, now all of a sudden she wants to watch the original.
Yeah, it got. I think the worst review was it the worst trailer review or something
Yeah,
of
the
all
most
time,
unliked,
the most
disliked trailer.
disliked trailer of all time. Yeah, I didn't not okay. My take, I mean, we reviewed it last year, but my take on the trailer was it was a little confusing because it said 30 years ago. It kind of mishmashed 30 years ago with the newer one, but it's a reboot. But yet, I thought it was a continuation. Like it was kind of very confusing to me. But once the movie kind of came out and I went and saw it, I understood that it was just a complete reboot, but with four very talented and hilarious women in their own rights. And I Vic really enjoyed it. I didn't enjoy it as much as he did, but I appreciated it. I really respected, what they were trying to do.
Yeah,
And
Kate McKinnon became my new hero
oh yeah, for
after
sure.
that. Yeah, definitely. And the same thing with Star Wars too. Like we were just actually, this is how big of a nerds we are. We were just talking about Star Wars before you had come
Ring
onto the
in.
yeah before you rang in, and we were talking about Star Wars and how like ridiculous it was about how much training, or I forget the terminology of it. This is why I'm not a writer. That they were calling a character who just happens to just know everything, like Ray did in The Force Awakens,
No
where she's
training. Mary
yeah,
Sue,
that's
yeah,
right,
she had no training.
right. But in the movie, if you just take the movie of The Force Awakens versus A New Hope, if you watch the beginning of that movie, who would you actually want to be fighting next to you? Because when you first meet Luke, he's kind of just whiny and just he's whiny. He's just
Tashi
whiny.
Station.
Yeah, and when you meet Ray, she's a loner. She has to survive in that desert planet, and she beats the crap out of three guys on the planet. She proves that she can fight, right?
Mhm.
Luke, the only fighting he really does hand to hand combat is he fights that like laser droid or the training droid on the Falcon,
Right.
right? And then so he there's no reason for him to actually be any good at what he does because he actually has less of what she does.
He has he has no training. His mentor, no, his mentor dies, and then he's on the ice planet, and then the next thing he does is pull the lightsaber out of the ground and cut a wampa's
Well,
arm
that's an
off.
Empire, but even
But even then, he had no training.
but even in A New Hope, like I mean, I guess this is how desperate the rebels were. Like, hey, you flew a T-16 Hopper, which is like, hey, I drive a motorcycle. Let me fly an F-14.
Right. Right.
Yeah, well, if he was fighting a room full of, you know, those training droids that fired one laser every 5 minutes, he would have survived. It would have made a lot of sense, you know. But flying an X-wing in a resistance, you know, when you compare it to, you know, I mean, they did it really subtly with Rey. But I guess too subtle for the He-Man women haters out there that didn't like what they saw. And I thought like they showed her very resilient. Whereas Luke, he was really whiny. I mean,
Yeah.
who do you want to fight next to? You know, the guy who doesn't want to like put in extra work, or the girl who kicks ass.
Hey, dude, Luke stood on his one hand and he lifted rocks. That's
Yeah, that was an Empire. That was only 3 days of training. we tried to figure out how many days of training. This is the nerd conversation. This is the major nerd
He doesn't
conversation.
ever use his lightsaber.
Yeah,
ever, except to cut a Wampa's head.
So let me ask you this. Let me see. I want to say test your nerd cred, but have you ever thought about how much training Luke actually goes through in Empire Strikes Back to fight Vader at the end of that movie? No, because think about the time frame and what happens, right? They're attacked on Hoth. He breaks away from the Millennium Falcon to go to Dagobah. So how long do you think that from the time that the Millennium Falcon is chased by the Star Destroyers, get into the asteroid field and get into Bespin, what do you think, like 3 or 4 days tops? Okay, so that's how much time frame that Luke has been training with Yoda at the same time. And then if you think about that, like you were saying, like you didn't quantify, but we tried to, and we're thinking like, holy shit, Luke has only trained for 4 days and he thinks he can face Vader. Because he wasn't right, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Han Solo told him not to be cocky.
It's like that 6-year-old that like you let win in video games and all of a sudden starts talking shit to you. Yeah. Exactly. And then reality sets in. But think about if you actually think about on screen time between the time that the Falcon is breaks away from the Star Destroyers and then they're captured by Vader on Bespin, it's not a lot of time at all. And that's about the same equivalent as Luke has been on Dagobah. So basically all he's had to do, or all his training to face Vader in that movie, is lift rocks, carry Yoda, and doing front flips, and that's it. Yeah. And again, whining too. He whines again. He whines again on Dagobah.
Now, how long does Force Awakens go through? Is like Force Awakens like a day and a half, 2 days?
She doesn't go through any training.
No, but I'm saying is you see her progression though, but you already see that she's a fighter at the beginning, like you said. Like it's established that she can handle herself. So. Yes. Well, and he was a Sith Lord too. I mean, he was trying to recruit her, so he's being cocky as well, arrogant, and it gave her time to kind of focus, you know, because as soon as she heard the word the Force, she remembered Maz telling her something about, you know, focus on the Force. Yeah. So anyway, okay, enough of that.
All right, that's what happens when we start talking about Star Wars. Just ramble on. So like I said, we try to do diversity inclusion, and in 2016 a lot of things happened, from the Oscars to the Oscars again, which most people don't know. I don't know if you know about the second time the Oscars screwed up, or it wasn't really the Oscars. The second time was Chris Rock.
Yeah.
So the first time it was why are the Oscars so white, and then Chris Rock thought it was funny to get people on board by making fun of Asian people, which didn't sit too well with me. And then the Ghost in the Shell, the whitewashing of that, and then of course Doctor Strange, the
Ancient One,
with whitewashing the Ancient One, which still didn't make sense. It actually made it worse when they tried to explain it the second time around, when the director came out and said the only way, like if we made it an Asian lady, we didn't want to make it like a dragon lady, quote unquote dragon lady. I'm like thinking in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, wait, the only way you think a strong, powerful, smart Asian woman is the stereotypical dragon lady? That's the only way you see? Do you understand how racist you just sound even more now than before?
So write it the way,
just write it like a normal person. Just don't do anything. So, but my question is in 2016, what was the thing that stood out the most to you? Because these are all the things that we talked about diversity last year. I was just trying to see like what stood out to you, where you're just sitting there thinking, I can't believe this is happening in 2016. You can, because we did we went hardcore into it,
like mad. Exactly. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Well, there's a difference, and there's a thing that people don't understand. When in America, we're a melting pot, right? Like there's all kinds of cultures, all kinds of races, all kinds of religions in America, and that's why we're built the way we're built, and that's why we were so successful. When you take the Japanese, the Ghost in the Shell, or you take like the Wall, or the Great Wall. Is it the Wall or the Great Wall?
The Great Wall, yeah.
So yeah. So in China or in Japan, they don't see a problem with that because their country is not built that way. So when they see Matt Damon in the movie or they see Scarlett Johansson, they're like, oh, well, that's just America's version of Ghost in the Shell, or that's just America's version of them saving the world again.
Right.
So but when American audience see that, and like for me, I'm Asian, I'm Chinese, I grew up in America, born here. I grew up in the melting pot, and when you see something like that in America and it's for both audiences, it doesn't work for both audiences. And I think people have a problem, or people, I would say, like when it comes to whitewashing, white people have a problem with saying like, well, the Japanese people don't care about Ghost in the Shell. Why should we? Because in America, we have more than one, majority of more than one race.
Right.
And I think that's the difference between the two. Is you can't say the Japanese don't care. They don't care because when they want to make a movie, they see Japanese people. When I see a movie here in America, I see white people. It's different. And then when there's so little Asian representation in movies and TV anyway, and then you go take Ghost in the Shell, one of the most known anime in the world, and then you put a white woman in it, it's makes it like, okay, what the hell? That was like one of the very few things that was really popular.
Yeah. That's more like a missed opportunity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't really whitewashing. I mean, you have to know the history of the character, of like what they were trying to do with that. Basically, introducing Asian, quote unquote, Asian culture, because this really wasn't really much Asian culture in there, but, bringing that into the Western world. They should have updated it. We have a friend over at, we have a friend over at Heroic Girls who had a really good idea about it. Was to make him Asian, put him in America, and then have his world fall apart, where he has to go and learn about his background, and then bring back the Iron Fist to America.
Hello.
It would have updated the character. I got into it with somebody recently on Facebook, and just like you, it never ends well, or because they don't really ever change their mind, even if you present them with a shit ton of facts. But they're like, well, I'm all about, like, they claim like they're all about inclusion, all that stuff, and right, exactly. Right. Like I'm not racist. I have a black friend.
Right.
So what this person said was that I grew up loving Iron Fist and I wanted them to stay white. I'm like, okay, yeah, but you do realize what that character was supposed to be in the beginning. When you understand why that character was created, you can understand why it was a missed opportunity to update that character, to make him Chinese or to make him Asian.
Well, exactly. And he's not, I mean, is he like the most well-known character in the world? Like, it's not like they're messing with Superman or, something like that.
Although I think in one version, well, no, that's the Hulk. The Hulk is Asian in one of the
I
comics.
think so.
Yeah.
I don't know. We love if you listen to our podcast, we love Idris Elba. We want him to play everything. We want him to be James Bond. We want him to be Batman. It was overplayed last year.
James Bond more than anything.
Yeah.
That guy, he's got like one of those voices like a Sean Connery, you know? He's got a sexy voice. I'm gonna admit it right now. Idris Elba has a very sexy voice with that accent. And just imagine him just saying James Bond. I'm like, I'm going to see that movie.
Oh.
That's a good one too.
Why didn't we think of that? Because Peter Capaldi just announced he's
I think his
leaving,
star
right?
might be a little bit too big to be
you never
in-
know.
Yeah.
Yeah, you might be right. So he would be an elegant doctor. He's just got that swagger too. So besides this one, Amy, you've done a lot of interviews both on both sides of the microphone, but besides this one, what's the best interview you've ever had? And that's whether you gave it or you were interviewed. And what was your worst? Okay.
I'm so jealous right now. I'm so pissed.
Gosh, I'm so jealous. Oh my gosh.
Those are the best ones, though.
But those are the but how many interviews
I listened
those
to
guys have
Mackey's. I listened to Mackey's interview on the Nerdist, and that was really funny.
That was pretty funny. But he's like that.
Yeah.
I mean, but also they do like 200 interviews a day. So like by the time they get to you, they're like, oh, we're gonna mess with this person.
I always.
So
Do you find it hard to actually like come up with interview questions? Because I always pictured like if we ever got the chance to actually interview, you know, like Robert Downey Jr., somebody like ridiculously famous, like A-list, like holy shit, I can't believe you're sitting in front of me. Like I always pictured them like, you know, doing the press junket and, you know, hours and hours answering the same questions. I always wanted to come up with questions that were so far-fetched or so ridiculous that they got like entertained from that questions. Do you do the same thing when you're doing that, or does like the Nerdist give you a set of questions that you have to ask? Hmm.
Yes. Hmm. Picking. You're like, okay, will do. I'll be right back.
I actually liked that in school because I hated the books that they gave us to read sometimes. And I was like, at that point in time, I was a real nerd about sports. So, I mean, I still watch a lot of sports now, but I always picked like something to do with football.
It's easy to do.
So in 2017, what's the movie you're looking forward to the most?
It's weird,
I know
right?
it's a great day to be alive. It's a great time to be alive. Was it the third Smurfs movie?
They're finally going to be in Smurfs Village, though. They're not going to be in live action, so that's great.
Maybe Gargamel gets to eat one of them finally. Okay, so since you're in like the Star Wars world, you get to go on the cruise. You write for the blog. You write for Star Wars Insider. Who the hell are Rey's parents? We'll delete this part out. We'll delete this part out. Just tell us.
Oh yeah, Judi Dench.
Yeah, Judi Dench one too. That's funny.
So funny.
All right, we'll have to get it out of Pablo if he ever agrees to interview with us.
Yeah, Pablo between now and episode 8. Yeah, he's not going to tell us. He's like,
he probably wouldn't even tell us the after opening weekend.
No.
And even after we saw the movie.
No.
Just on the outside chance we were lying that we actually did not see the movie.
Well, here's a hypothetical question. Here's a what if for you. What if George Lucas never broke away from the Directors Guild and like Steven Spielberg directed Return of the Jedi? How different would that movie be? Because do
you think we'd still got the Ewoks if Spielberg directed? Yeah, I mean, we did get the refrigerator scene in Indiana Jones, so we probably would have gotten Ewoks still.
Oh no!
You talking about the refrigerator scene? Yeah,
I think she's thinking about the whole movie. It happened. Yeah.
This whole 2.5 hours was not made up in my head. It actually happened.
It actually happened.
He's actually swinging on vines with monkeys right now. I tried.
He's still traumatized.
I tried. I can't get there. So with my fiance, I don't allow. Not that I don't allow. I just don't show her like episodes 1 through 3 don't exist. Like I don't show them to her. I've shown her the 3 Indiana Jones. I don't show her the 4th one. And I'm like, if you want to watch Transformers the movie, you watch the cartoon, not the Michael Bay ones.
Are you saving that for when she's like in trouble or something?
I'm saving it when she pisses me off, and I'm just like, you watch this. Yeah, watch this. That's Devastator's balls right there. Yeah. What does it have to do with Transformers? Nothing. They just thought it was funny.
Yeah, that was terrible. I can't stand Transformers. So, Amy, thank you so much, by the way, for all this time that you're giving us. Before we go, there's a couple of things. I want you to plug your work, plug your websites, plug away.
Yeah, we have StarWars.com, Nerdist.com, Star Wars Insider. Is there anything that's coming up that are, well, actually, by the time this releases,
yeah,
got to keep the time frame in mind.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, I can't wait. Oh,
Nice.
so cool. And oh, so
Can
nice.
I come?
Fit in your suitcase. Yeah. Oh, darn it.
But I'm the first person you're going to say yes to, right?
Yeah.
Oh, God damn it. But tell him we're in the industry together.
Yeah.
Tell him I need it for our podcast. So we do this thing. We, just like I said before, we always try to, I was always thinking about if I ever got to interview people, interesting people, I want to do something different. And this is what we came up with. We call it the big finish. And it's everybody gets the same questions. Depending on your answer, the follow-up question might vary, but everybody gets the same three main questions. This is a more fun version of the
Charles
Inside the Actors Guild.
Yeah.
One.
Yeah.
It's a more
What's your
nerdy
favorite
version of
curse word?
that.
Yeah.
I'm not going to ask you your favorite curse word.
Yeah.
Okay, so all-time favorite character can.
Frack. Oh.
You could curse on this one. We Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. What's your all-time favorite character? Can be from any genre. Belle. Okay.
Good.
What kind of birthday gift would you get Belle?
How did you not see that coming?
Well, did you see the size of library that she has? It's kind of like, I think I already have it. Oh, there you go. There you go. Get her,
Barnes and Noble. Yeah.
get her a fire so she doesn't have to go into the library and climb up the ridiculously long ladders to get the book.
Okay. So what are you watching now as far as TV shows that is your go-to right now? Either that you watch live or that you DVR it? Yeah. Awesome. But choose a different one.
You happen to pick the one.
I can't segue to another question.
That is the first one that we've ever gotten where we don't watch. That's literally the only time that's ever happened.
At each other, I'm like, what is that?
We've never gotten stumped on that.
No.
You stumped us on the follow-up question. Oh, good one. Good one. So, okay, so if Dean didn't have the what is it, the Chrysler, what's the black? The Impala, right. If he didn't have the Impala, what kind of transportation would he choose if he had to pick Kit, Airwolf, or Street Hawk? Oh my god.
And now we're even.
Yes. Kit's from Knight Rider, so that's the self-driving car. Airwolf is the helicopter, and Street Hawk was a motorcycle. Well, how about this? What if Dean was on Friends? Who would he be dating?
Oh.
And why do you think Rachel?
No, yeah, actually, that's a good point. Well, too flighty.
Yeah. Okay. Last one of the big finish. Top 3 movies of all time.
Nice.
Well, The Matrix Reloaded and Revolutions was basically one movie, so.
Beautiful.
Oh, I love that movie.
Like that. I'll be your Huckleberry.
That's a great movie. That's a great movie.
Yeah,
it has no historical value whatsoever, but it's freaking awesome. Yeah, when the Wyatt Earp came out, because Hollywood always does the 2 movies that are the same.
Armageddon.
So Impact. Tombstone came out around the same time as Wyatt Earp. Tombstone had like no historical value other than the names and places, and Wyatt Earp tried to stay more historical, and nobody went to go see that movie. No, it was Dennis Quaid
played
Doc Holliday. Who the hell played Wyatt Earp?
It might have been Kevin Costner.
Maybe. I don't know, but nobody went to go see it.
We didn't see it either, so we don't care. So thank you so much, Amy. So normally we give away something to our guests being interviewed, but because of logistics, we're not right next to you or in front of you to give you something tangible. But however, if you check your email right now, we did just send you something.
It is an email from a Russian czar asking for money.
It's in no way connected to our account.
And once the money clears at the Virgin Islands, we get it.
Okay, so describe it. Describe what it looks like. Describe it. Yes.
So if you notice our logo, like we do stick figures, and that's one of our things that we do for just for fun. Like when we were trying to come up with a logo for our podcast.
I think your ride's there, Amy.
Uber, your Uber's arrived.
Yeah.
We can't draw, so I thought it would be funny just to like do stick figures with the most ridiculous thing, and that's why our logo is the way we have it. And one of the things we have is making stick figures for some guests. You're the second person to actually have an official stick figure drawing for Chew on This.
Yes, it's an official Chew on This stick figure that is in your likeness. Oh,
wait, you can do that?
Yeah, if somebody could do that for you, send it to us. That'd be pretty sick.
Can you get Pablo to get somebody from ILM to animate that for you?
Get Dave Filoni on the phone. Yeah. It won't take too much of your time. Now,
yeah.
What happens in Rebels? Never mind. It's no big deal. Just do this stick figure for me. Forget it. Forget the Kenobi and Maul fight right now. We need to take care of this. This is important.
Yeah, Filoni, stop what you're doing right now and animate this stick figure drawing. It's more important.
Exactly. Amy, thank you so much for being on the podcast. We really appreciate your time and all your insight and everything. Any last words, Vic?
No, thank you again for just reiterating what BJ said about
And putting
giving
up
us
with
your
us,
time. Yeah,
our shenanigans. Awesome. All right, well, take care.
And that's it. Well, I'm just gonna cut it from there
because I'll do some editing.
Yeah, I'll do some. I'll edit the pieces together.
Yeah, that's all good. Yes.
Yeah,
yes.